YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. Today we're ranking every starting NFL left tackle for the 2022 season. Our next video will be the right tackle, splitting them up here. Fun to see where each team kind of stacks up on both these videos here. And for these ranking videos, again, we're predicting how these players will play in the upcoming 2022 season. So left tackle is pretty good. There's some solid ones or guys that are going to be solid even towards the bottom of the top 32. Right tackles, not really the same. Kind of a shortage on right tackles here, but really excited about these videos. Like, subscribe to notifications on full NFL coverage here. Follow us on Twitter. We have super follows now live as well. Exclusive content, some bonus rankings coming out with these rankings there for our super followers. So check it out. Here's our Twitter. You guys are kind of playing along, made this post. You guys are commenting with your rankings for the top tier left tackles. Again, the right tackles video will be tomorrow. 32-1. Again, this is based off how I think they'll play this upcoming season. And had to do a little bit of predicting because some teams, like the Chicago Bears here, nothing really for sure set on who their left tackle or right tackle will be. It's sounding like they got Larry BOROM over there, who was a rookie last year, who they thought is he going to play guard? Is he going to play tackle? But it sounds like they like him on the left side. Tevin Jenkins could be playing the right side. They draft Braxton Jones from Southern Utah, who I like. I mainly liked him because he has the traits that you look for in really top-tier tackles. But I think he's kind of a raw prospect, so maybe not quite yet for Braxton Jones. And then they go BOROM on the left side, and there's some competition on the right. But, yeah, I mean, he's a young player that was fairly solid when he got his opportunity last year and has some upside here. It's just still a lot to prove, and he's got to progress a little bit. So he's going to be at 32, and there's not too many. It's tough competition when it comes to left tackles as well. Dan Moore Jr., another guy, we thought, could he be a guard, could be a tackle when he came in last year. Steelers do a pretty good job developing offensive linemen, so maybe he takes that step up after a little bit of a struggle year last year. Rookies do tend to struggle, and then these guys are in their second year. And there are some rookies here. Trevor Penning, which I love that he went to the Saints. The Saints will develop him just fine. He'll be solid. I could see him struggling here and there in pass protection. He'll be fine in run blocking. It's just, sometimes the rookies that aren't the top tier, and even sometimes the top tier guys, struggle a little bit. And there's just really good company when it comes to left tackles. Making these rankings, I realized that are even better than I thought. And there's another rookie, Charles Cross, kind of in the same category. Cross is a better prospect. Wouldn't surprise me if Penning played a little better just because the Saints do a better job developing offensive line, but I did think Cross was I don't want to say much better, but yeah, kind of close to much better prospect. But the tough part is where he needs to work on is his run blocking. Seattle wants to run the ball a lot, early on until they find that right quarterback. So he could have a lot more run blocking duties compared to Mississippi State theirs last year. So maybe that could be the learning curve there. But these are fine prospects. I think they're going to have good careers here. So moving on. Matt Pryor, 28, tough one to rank because it's not, for multiple reasons, not a guarantee that he'll be the starting left tackle for the Colts. I love the draft pick of Bernhard Raimann. That was a steal in my opinion. I have a feeling they go Pryor to start, though. That's kind of my feeling. Raimann could take over. Remember, Raimann was a former tight end, so maybe they view him as a little raw. Maybe that's why he slipped a little bit. So he'll eventually take over. I think he's got a bright future, especially playing for the Colts. And they could sign Eric Fisher back. Who knows? But I think they're going to go Matt Pryor. And not a big name guy. There's probably a lot of people watching that probably don't know who Matt Pryor is. He's had limited snaps, and he's been with the Eagles. They have good offensive linemen as well. Limited snaps. He looked pretty solid in his limited snaps. But him being on the Colts kind of helps here a little bit. I think he plays better than what his name is, where you expect him to be. So, maybe a guy that people would rank in the bottom just because you don't know how many snaps he's going to play. I haven't really seen much of him, but maybe a little better than expected because that Colts offense line's pretty solid, well coached over there. Jonah Williams at 27, still waiting for him to take that next step, and a little inconsistent, maybe a little, I don't know if he's been better. It's more of he's just been a little healthier recently. Another one of those guys that the Bengals are kind of insisting on. They finally stopped insisting on the interior players and added some guys. Jonah Williams could be his last shot, which he could be part of the future. He's still got upside. He's had some bright moments. I thought he started the year, the early portion of the year when he played. I thought he was pretty strong. Then he started giving up some more pressure and sacks as the year went on. The interior was more of the problem, but Williams a little inconsistent. Another one of those guys that some thought maybe he'd be an interior player, guard, coming in or have to switch there. So Bengals keep insisting on him. There's a reason for it, though. He's got some upside, so we'll see if he can continue to grow better than 27. Isaiah Wynn, another guy that needs to stay healthy, been a little inconsistent. Him and Jonah Williams kind of in the same boat there, actually, the more I'm talking about it. He comes in at 26. The rest of the Patriots line looks very good. George Fant at 25, who actually had a pretty impressive year last year, was kind of out of nowhere. He's kind of been a guy that's like, he's okay, good guy to fill in, and he's an okay starter, but then solid year last year to the point where the new staff is like, we like Fant at left tackle. Becton, they still like the upside, but we're going to have to put him at right tackle because we like Fant at left, and there's been some talks about a potential extension for Fant, and those talks kind of a few months ago, and that never happened. Maybe they want to see him. That's smart. They'll play out another year because we haven't seen a whole lot of great play from Fant, but very solid year last year. So still a little on the fence which Fant we're going to get, but there's a lot of good solid left tackles. So there's some solid ones like Fant down here at 25. So let's see if that works out for the Jets on having Fant at left, Mekhi Becton at right, or if they're going to have to move that around, put Becton back at left. I don't think so. I think they'll probably stick with Fant and Becton there. It's definitely what I would predict them to do right away. I think that's what they are going to do. All right, next group of guys here. EKWONU, a rookie, a very solid rookie, one of the top tier guys. I think who have no problem in terms of run blocking right away. I think he'll be polished right away. He could have some hiccups here and there in terms of pass protection. He's a rookie, so he's not going to play lights out right away. A second-year guy, Christian Darsaw. The Vikings actually looked pretty promising for them when he played. I was pretty high on him as a prospect as well. So second-year guy here. Again, could have his hiccups here and there, but pretty promising left tackle, which the Vikings been looking for a long time. Charles Leno had a good year last year. He stayed healthy. That's kind of the thing with him over the course of his career. He's almost played at a Pro Bowl level at times. With the Bears quite a few years ago, but then had the injuries, and when he came back, he wasn't really himself. Last year, he played pretty solid. It's another one of those guys, like he can play a lot better than 22. Are we going to get that full time? Are we going to, can we base things off of 1 year, this previous year, I should say? And then Cam Robinson at 21, who played better last year on the snaps that he did play. I still believe he has some upside why they paid him the money they did, but he comes in at 21. I do think with that staff, he could take a little bit of a step up this year. Next group of guys, DJ Humphries at 20, kind of took a step down last year because 2 years ago he played very, very well. Much better than number 20 left tackle based off 2 years ago. Based off last year, probably worse than 20. So this is where I ended up with him at 20. So hopefully plays a little bit better this year than last year. It wasn't a complete mess or anything last year. It just could be better, could expect better. Taylor Lewan has pretty much declined here because he used to be one of the elite guys at the top. I think injuries played a part. When he did play last year, he did not look anywhere near himself. But again, I think he was playing injured, so he's supposed to be healthy going into this year. So maybe he plays a little bit better than we've seen him, last year. But he's nowhere near up to where we had him ranked the previous years because he was, for a short amount of time, at least close to an elite left tackle. Garrett Bowles at 18 of the Broncos. Maybe could play a little bit better this year with Russell Wilson in there. Was solid last year. Wasn't as good as the year before. It's kind of been a roller coaster ride with Bowles. He had some rough years, mainly because of the holding calls, the penalties, and then he kind of cleaned that up a little bit. I think the NFL, he kind of got some help there because the NFL kind of cut down on those holding calls to protect the quarterbacks. And then, you see his ability, his talent, and he was very, very solid a couple years ago. And then really wasn't the same last year, but still much better where he was previously. But I got him at 18. Donovan Smith, who's been inconsistent over the course of his career. You see flashes of, maybe even greatness, but then really bad play. But then as soon as Tom Brady got in there, maybe a little more consistent last year. He's going to come in at 17. 16, I'm going to go Andrew Thomas. Tough one to rank because he was very solid last year. It was a disaster his rookie year, but that's his rookie year. How much are we going to, have that weigh in, So I think he can continue to grow and continue to be solid. I'm not really expecting him to be fully consistent, not putting that pressure on him yet. I got him at 16. Taylor Decker at 15. From the Lions games I watched, he had some penalty problems, here and there that kind of got out of hand. I thought he started playing a little bit better down the stretch. In the early part of the season, we were kind of questioning, should Penei Sewell play left tackle? Because maybe he's just overall better than Taylor Decker. But I think they started to figure it out there. Decker started to play better. So I'm at 15. I don't think he played up to that rank last year, but I know he's better than that just based on what we've seen. Jedrick Wills at 14. A lot of upside there, so I'm expecting him to play better than what he did last year. He needs to stay healthy as well. But yeah, rookie year looked like this guy looks like a future All-Pro perhaps, and then we haven't really seen much of that since. It's only been 2 years since that rookie year, but I think he kind of gets back on track here. I'm a big fan of Will's game, so I think he has a very solid year here. Again, back on track in the top 15. Joseph Noteboom, this one may surprise some people. I got it 13 because we haven't seen him play a whole lot. We have seen him play. I mean, the Rams kind of used him a bit. Whitworth missed some time over the last couple of years. Noteboom could play that swing tackle role as well. But now he's going to be the starter, and the Rams paid him like they know this guy can play. It's because when we did see him, he can play. So maybe a little bold that I'm very confident in Noteboom being a top 15, left tackle. I think most people probably wouldn't rank him there, but I'm pretty confident with the Rams. I'm pretty confident with Joseph Noteboom, his ability. So I put him at 13. I'm excited about him. I think that was a good contract, even though it was a little bit surprising at the same time. Next up, we're on to the top 12. I got Jake Matthews at 12. Maybe not quite as good as he once was, but the rest of the Falcons' offensive line took a turn for the worse, really, because they used to be, it's been some time, but they used to be elite or close to elite. But they really kind of every year kind of took a step down. So I think it's all about units when it comes to the offensive line. So I think maybe is Matthews really declined, or is that he's been picking up a lot of slack? I think that's more of what it is. Maybe a little bit better for the Falcons O-line this year. I got him at 12. Laramie Tunsil, another tough one to predict. Hopefully he's good to go, staying healthy this year. But we know how talented he is. His talent, pure talent, could be better than 11 for sure. I just haven't seen a whole lot of him recently. Even when we did see him, I don't know if he was the full Laramie Tunsil, so I put him at 11. Colt Miller played very well last year, and he started off a little rough, but you can even see it almost from where he started, which was rough, to where he is now. It's not like a lot of these guys we talked about had like bad rookie years, and in the second year they're good. So are they just good now? It's hard to say that. Or some guys had kind of the opposite. They were good and they're bad. Colton Miller was kind of like bad, a little better, a little better, a little better, a little better. Like every game it kind of felt like, and he played very well last year. So I'm confident with him in the top 10, even though that could be, I don't know if that should be that surprising. He played fairly well last year. Deion Dawkins, another young guy that's getting better and better. Second half of the year last year really stepped it up, was dominant, down the stretch. So he made his way into the top 10 as well there. Now we're inside the top 8. Well, first, actually, a reminder that we have super followers live on our Twitter, Echoes NFL. A lot of you signing up. Appreciate you very much. I've been doing bonus rankings with each of these videos. After the right tackles videos come out, I'll combine them so we can kind of compare. Super followers will get that. So a lot of fun there. A lot of rankings and exclusive content already up on there. Top 8, going to go Ronnie Stanley at 8, who we haven't seen much of at all recently. The last time we did see him, though, it did feel like he was arguably the best left tackle in football. So we know he has that in him. Is he going to stay healthy? And is he going to be the same on that ankle? That's kind of been a problem for him. So he comes in at 8, but if you told me Stanley's for sure going to stay, nobody can say that, but for sure going to stay 100% healthy, he's going to play every snap this year, he's probably going to be better than 8. He's probably going to be better than 8, but if he's the same, so we'll see. Jordan Mailata that was a steal of a draft pick, gem of a draft pick too, because I didn't even have a grade on him. So Eagles know how to do it when it comes to the offensive lineman, and he's really worked out for them. He's getting better, and they gave him that contract. Another one of those contracts kind of out of nowhere, but looks really good at the same time. It's like one of those, it's really good, but surprising at the same time. So he comes in at 7. He can continue to climb as well. Terron Armstead, going from the Saints to the Dolphins, was arguably the top free agent, and the Dolphins landed him there. I don't know if he'd be quite as good as he was on the Saints, but that doesn't mean it should be that much of a difference there. So I think they'll do a good job with that, coaching that offense. Mike McDaniel maybe is Trent Williams, so he's just a very talented left tackle, just has to stay healthy. So he's at 6. Tyron Smith, talking about staying healthy. If he stays healthy, he could be number 1. I wouldn't say number 1, actually. Maybe number 2, because number 1 just too damn good. But Tyron Smith, just all about staying healthy, but a dominant force if he's in there. So he comes in at 5. Now we're on to the top 4. Number 4, second-year guy. In his second year, he's already in the top 4 for me. An excellent rookie year for RASHAWN SLATER from Northwestern. Keep in mind, he opted out that last year Northwestern as well, so he's just getting going too. I was very high on him as a prospect. He was my number 1 offensive tackle that year, so very excited about him and where he's already at and what he can become growing with Justin Herbert. I got Orlando Brown at 3, and I kind of noticed some other rankings out there, and they have Orlando Brown not even close to 3. I love what I see from Orlando Brown. He's getting better and better as the year went on, was dominant in the playoffs as well. Bright future for him. He's already extremely talented. He's waiting on that contract that he could get at any moment now, too. I think he get paid up there with the top 2 guys, rightfully so, because you're kind of paying on what he can become, and he's going to become that very, very soon. He's already very, very talented. So, yeah, big fan of the young Orlando Browns game there. David Bakhtiari at 2. Yeah, has faced some injuries recently, so that's tough. I'm still confident enough with his talents to put him at number 2 because he's that good. I mean, he could be number 1 for sure at any given time. And he was for a pretty consistent stretch, so he definitely could be number 1 if he stays fully healthy. That's the only guy. Like, it's tough for me to see anybody but Trent Williams or David Bakhtiari 1, but it's really tough for me to not put Trent Williams 1. Just so damn dominant, especially in that 49ers scheme as well. But equally effective pass protection and run blocking. I don't know where he stands out more. So, yeah, I'm a little salty because my Vikings had a trade in place a few years ago to get him for next to nothing, and he refused to play for my Vikings. That's just unfortunate. But goes to the Niners, and he is an elite, valuable player there for them. We saw that. We saw him when he was on Washington as well, but last year was just ridiculous. So hopefully those top 2 guys, the questions are, can they stay fully healthy? When Williams does miss time, it feels like it's more, I know he had a problem with Washington playing, so there's more of that. But when he does miss time, it feels like minor injuries where he misses a little bit. But those 2 guys got to stay healthy because they are serious impact players coming from the offensive line there. And it's hard for me to see anybody say somebody else is one. I mean, I think you make the argument some of these young guys really step up, but I think everyone's 1, 2 got to be in some order. Williams, Bakhtiari there. I think most people got Williams. So those are left tackles. Right tackles will be next. Not as good as the left tackles. Left tackles, I mean, I was talking about guys that were good down in the 30s or in that range here. Right tackles is not the case there, but who knows? Some guys may step up this year. So we'll do that video next. Super followers, we'll kind of get them combined to see how they compare. Just plain and simple, who are the best guys, when it comes to the tackle position. But we're doing all kinds of these rankings, so join us, like, subscribe to notifications on. Be much appreciated. Full NFL coverage here. Cannot wait for the season to start. Twitter's got a lot going on there. You're missing out if you don't have a Twitter, if you're not following us on Twitter. So check it out, Echoes NFL. There's a link down below for that. That is going to do it for this one, though. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.